Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Empress T with higher frequency. Empress, take it away.
Okay, blessings, everyone. Today I am finally going to cover the topic about organic versus non-organic foods. This topic was requested by Servant David some weeks ago, but as I said, I was trying to, get myself back in balance. I always preach balance and healthy living, but somehow, as a human, I fell short and had to get myself back together. So here I am, new and improved.
Nice. New and improved balance.
All right. So now, the thing that I want you to think about is when we see organic and non-organic. Right now, it's a trendy phrase. So everybody now is on.
Empress, before you get into that, can I ask you just for a quick definition as to organic versus non-organic? Because we hear these terms all the time, and folks may not really necessarily know what's the composition or what makes a food an organic versus a non-organic.
Okay, when we talk about organic, basically we mean something that is free of pesticides, free of synthetics, something that is whole, that is real. You can talk about organic love. You hear people talk about organic food. You hear, one second, I just have to do this. You hear people talk about, organic meat, organic milk, organic. It just means that it's supposed to be natural and free of anything that is not natural. So when we talk about organic foods, it must be food that is grown in safe soil, meaning that it didn't have any pesticides or any type of petroleum-based fertilizers, nothing like that. It's supposed to be grown in, just regular soil using regular water and regular procedures.
All right.
And so what the benefits of it is that when it's grown naturally like that, the way that, we did back in the day, it provides us with more antioxidants and more zinc, more iron, so that these fruits, the vegetables, provide us with more nutritional value. But what happens is with the new diet and the new foods, they use many pesticides. They use also these GMOs. That's the new thing. They have fertilizers that are based with petroleum. These are all things designed to give them bigger produce, they say, so that they can feed more people. They want to be able to produce more fruits and vegetables for more people over a longer period of time and save money. Yeah. But what happens is, in order to do that, we have to sacrifice some things too. So what we're sacrificing are the antioxidants, and we need these antioxidants because those are the things that fight the free radical cells in our body. Those are the free radicals are the cells that grow and create cancer and heart issues and immune dysfunctions that are going on in our bodies. So we need these antioxidants. We need these nutrients to keep our bodies whole. So there again is where I always say we must eat whole foods, real foods. So when we talk about organic, that's what that means.
Okay.
And when you talk about organic meat, I'm sorry, Rulu, to cut you off. Organic meat just means that it's livestock that had outdoor access, that was fed on organic food, not fed on any antibiotics, any growth hormones, nothing like that, no animal byproducts. It has to be livestock that was, basically raised naturally, like we want to be raised.
Right.
So now what's happening with the food production is that because they want to, like I said, increase the food production amount, they have started to inject the foods with, what do they call it? With these...
Fertilizers?
No. They're injecting the foods with, I have my notes, I'm sorry, they're all out of order. They're injecting the foods with different genes So what they're doing is they call them GMOs because they're genetically modified. And by that, what that means is that they'll inject a different gene into a plant seed, a tomato seed, to get a longer plant life. So let's say, for instance, with tomatoes, what they do is they'll take the genes of flounder fish and they'll inject it into the genes of the tomatoes so that when they grow, they'll have a longer shelf life.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so then they'll take, they've taken like the genes of jellyfish and they inject them into the potatoes. And so what happens is they glow when they need more water. So like it's nifty science, science fiction thing that they're doing, but what this cross-genetic changing that they're doing, this modifying is doing, is also crossing over to us. Because what they're doing basically is tampering with the genetic, with the DNA tree.
Right.
When you go into that level where you're injecting, other genes and cross, I don't know what you call it, cross mixing these genes like this, it creates you get a good result on one hand, but you're also taking away from the natural structure of our genetic tree.
Right.
And so there's where you have people saying no GMOs. So the difference with the organic food versus GMO food, which is what we're mostly eating now, is that these GMO foods are being created, manufactured. And they're messing up the genetic tree of humans, animals, the whole life, the whole ecostructure. Because what happens is, when you have these plants, let's say you have tomatoes that are growing on one farm, and they have been genetically modified. So now their gene structure is out of sync with the rest of the culture. Remember that I said everything is connected. Everything that is in the universe, all the systems that are in the universe are in our bodies as well. And we're all interconnected. So that when we die, we go to the earth we use to plant food, the food we use to eat, and it cycles back. Right? You still with me, Ruth?
Yeah, we're hearing you. You're doing your notes. I don't want to interrupt you to upset your flow. But do you think, and Keith Anthony's adding some notes in the chat room, I'll mention that later on. So go ahead. We're hearing you.
Yes, so it cycles back. So we want to keep in that natural cycle. So when you start tampering with the genes of the food or even of people, anytime you start tampering with the cycle, then it's going to tamper with all the cycles that follow along. So what's happening is that these genetically modified foods are breaking us down internally, but they're also breaking down the environment as well. So I want to talk about how they break us down internally, and then I'll talk about how it breaks down the environment. And so when we have these genetically modified foods or processed foods, they are not real, like I said. And so what happens is they break us down, they cause more allergies because now we have pesticides, we have chemicals, we have different toxins involved as well. And so it has those breakdowns that we've always been talking about. We have the diabetes, we have health issues, eye issues, heart issues, any kind of issues that you can think of is actually linked back to the foods that we're ingesting. So you want to stick with organic foods so that you don't have those chemical reactions. With the GMOs, unfortunately, they cross over, like I said, not just to the people, but also to our environment. So what happens is the pollinating of the tomatoes or any of the fruits, the dusting goes on to other plants and other living, I don't know what you call them, other living beings in the environment. And what happens is, let's say you have caterpillars who eat leaves to sustain themselves, and these leaves have been infected by the pollen of GMOs, which are genetically modified organisms. Those are genetically modified tomatoes or to modified fruits and flowers. So what happens is the toxins from those interrupt the cycle of the caterpillars. what happened with those in particular is that they died within 4 days of eating these leaves that had pollen from genetically modified corn. And so they're saying that it's interrupting the cycle.
And the bottom line for most of what you're presenting is about the bottom line to these various companies, because the shelf lives and these things, the longer they can have them on the shelf, you tend to think, well, but that'll be counterintuitive actually, because if I put a product up on the shelf and it's gonna, not good in a week, you're gonna have to throw it out. So then those manufacturers would have to supply those chains with new stuff. So it's not clear why they're doing these things. And I know
it's money. It's very clear. It is money. It's for those reasons. So instead of them having a product that will last for a week, so they send tomatoes to, let's say they send tomatoes to Walmart. Now, a regular normal tomato should probably only live maybe 3 to 4 days of pure freshness, where it's at its peak of freshness with nutrients and vitamins. But now, let's say you're getting these tomatoes from, I don't know, I'm going to pick a place far because we're on the East Coast, from the West Coast. It might take 3 or 4 days to get here. So by the time it gets here and they sort it out and pack it out, they're already corroding. So if we can get an extra week out of it, why not get an extra week? Because in California, they're going to sell us those tomatoes for much less than what we can buy them for here if we buy more. So we're going to get them from California, and we're just going to, buy more. We'll get them over here as quickly as we can, and we don't really care how they're made as long as we can sell them.
Right.
So then there's where you come with the labeling. Because people say, well, I go to the store and this one says 100% organic, or this one says made with organic, or this one says USDA organic. Which is the real organic? Because, which is the real organic? When you see a label that says USDA organic certified, it's supposed to mean that product, 95% of that product is free of any type of synthetic pesticides, any type of antibiotics, any type of growth hormones, anything like that. It's supposed to be free of any of those things. Now, when you see a label that says made with organic, it means that 70% to 94% is free of those antibiotics. And the 30% that's remaining, they pass a list. So if they have a list of some items, some products that they say are okay, we'll allow these preservatives, they're not too bad because the quantities won't be that high. So, they figured that the quantities of the preservatives that are going into each item is not so much, so they can pass. They pass certain products, and there's where you have the 70%. So that's just made with organic items. And then they can list 3 different items that are in that product.
Interesting.
So when you see those labels, there's where you know. Now, the difference is in our country and in countries around the world, our products are made completely different. You can have an item made here, let's say ketchup, for instance, by Heinz. I shouldn't use a manufacturer. Let's say we have ketchup made here in this country by Company A. Now, Company A will sell that same ketchup to maybe Canada or Europe, but they're not going to use the same products because Europe and Canada have different laws regarding chemicals such as pesticides and synthetics and the antibiotics that they give to the animals and the growth hormones. They have very, very strict regulations when it comes to that because they understand the implications and they understand how it affects the human body and the generations and the environment as well. So they have very strict regulations. So to them, Company A will sell one ketchup, and to our country, Company A will sell a different ketchup.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, let me just add a little bit there because I just see where Toronto Queen added in the chat room. They have an approved apple product. No, an approved. No, they have approved an apple produce in Canada that when you cut it, it will not darken to exposure. And it has been approved for USA consumption, and it has not been approved in Canada. And it says it's grown in Canadian East Coast, and it does not have Canadian approval.
And you see that they still sell it.
Right.
Because depending on the labeling, because that's another big trick that they use, depending on the labeling, you know, it can get past maybe, like I said, on some sides, but maybe not on the other side. So you have to be careful with the labeling. But even with that, they say the best way to ensure that you're getting organic food is to either get it from a small farmer's market or farm, a nearby farm, or fruits or vegetables that are grown locally, because then you know that there's a little more control over how it's being grown, the conditions.
All right, Sister Empress T, just hold your thought there for a second. Folks, as you know, Empress T comes in every week and she presents...
You are listening to RBN, Rule Grounds Network.
It's 10 minutes on the upside of 11 and you're listening to Empress T with her weekly edition of... This is the 15th presentation, and she's done an outstanding job each week in researching information. Again, she's not a doctor. She's not an expert in these things, but she practices a lot of these things. So she does her research and present the data, and she will tell you, look, she's not saying you should do A or B. All she's saying, go and research and make a decision. Talk to your doctors, talk to your bush doctor, whomever you want to talk to, but she's just relaying information to you. Remember that. And we have something like about 47 people, almost 50 people right now that are tuning in just in Ruler Bell Network on the chat room. So people come in, want to say good morning to Miss Sal Hammond over there in Brunswick, over there in Canada. That's Librock's mom. Again, we have like 47 people tuning in, and each week they come in looking to hear information. Some of them are practicing some of these things, because I speak to a lot of people after the shows, and they said, yeah, you know what, Empress T said, what Sir Keith Anthony said, I've been doing that, I've been thinking of doing that. And they may hear more information here that cements, you know, whatever they want to do. So, Empress, continue. Just want to say an awful lot of people right now in the chat room, so go ahead.
And like just some fun facts about it, that there's two-thirds of all the food products right now are genetically modified. So that when you think of the food that we're eating, mostly none of it now is even real. It's mostly all genetically modified. And we can change the strain of that, though, like I said, by supply and demand. If we stop buying these processed foods, stop buying foods that are made with processed foods, you know, be more aware of what we're putting into our body, we can stop them from producing it, because they're not going to make money. They want to make money. So if we stop buying them, they're not going to make money. If we stop buying them, our health will improve dramatically. All of the issues that we have going on, I see Sir Keith Anthony is mentioning leaky gut. Exactly. All these issues that we have going on are due to, you know, to these newfangled foods. There's no other way to say it. Unfortunately, our generation are the ones who are suffering, because we are basically their guinea pigs. Yeah. Nobody used these things before us. They might have used preservatives, but they were also natural preservatives, like pickling. They had different methods of preserving food. Canning, jarring, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Empress.
Things like that.
Empress, I just want to, you know, Liebeck is funny. He has a great sense of humor. He says, look, just eat the apple early. Eat it quick. As you might just eat it. But I thought that was kind of funny, the way he the way he put that in the chat room.
I can't read and think. So, you know, like I said, we want to eat foods that don't have as many preservatives, that don't have many chemicals. And the thing with the antibiotics, the reason why it's such a danger for us to consume meat and products that have antibiotics is because it breaks down our resistance to antibiotics in our bodies. So let's say you get sick it's going to take a lot more to get you cured if you need an antibiotic, because your body is being fed constantly small, minute amounts of antibiotics. And, eventually you build up a tolerance to it. So it's breaking us down from the inside, and then it's not allowing our immune systems to do what they're designed to do.
Let me ask you this, though, Empress T. And I'm sure the information you're giving, the data you're presenting, it's been verified by many of these federal governments and so forth. Why then, with the healthcare system the way it is, why then don't you think the government cut back immensely on these things to create a more healthier society?
Well, actually, Ruler, they are. Believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
I know that for a period of time, when people were in the dark ages, as I like to call them, and people were dropping like flies, no one wanted to pay attention. But I think that with the advent of internet and the way that information is available now, they can't really hide it anymore. So they have to, they kind of have to come to terms with it. They're going to have to either make right or get out of there. Do you understand what I'm saying? And people are looking at how many of their family members are dying, and all these new diseases, like I said, breast cancers, all these cancers that are popping out of nowhere. If you really think back, we didn't have people in our family or in our community that died from these diseases. Mm-hmm. And so there's how you know that this is new, based off of these new lifestyle changes that we've made in the last 30, 40, 50 years.
But on the other hand, when you think about politically, though, in Washington, in Washington you have these folks called lobbyists. They will go in and lobby the federal government, lobby the Congress, lobby the Senate for certain things not to be introduced because they want to maximize on their profits. Isn't that true?
Oh, true. Definitely. But like I said, with the advent of the internet now, it's getting harder because people are becoming outraged to know, like I said, that company A, who supplies ketchup in our country and supplies ketchup in Europe, they'll give us the junk products just because our government allows it when they have the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot going on here, too, because company A really has an obligation to just provide the best product. But they're not going to do that. They're into making money. Everybody is. So that, we have to do our part. And, these lobbyists, they're supposed to be speaking for us. So, we have to get out there and tell them what it is that we want and what we don't want. We don't want our kids born with cancer. We don't want our family members developing cancer. People are getting cancer younger and younger, and it's because of the food. We can't get away from it. I mean, we really can. And then they use the tricky labeling against us, because now, let's say you go to the store and you see organic milk. There's no such thing. There really can be no organic milk. But they sell it to us, because now we hear the thing, organic, this is what's saving lives. But, we have to make them accountable, and we have to also inform ourselves. So that's why, I try to share as much information as I can. And you just have to inform yourselves and like I said, inform each other. And that's basically it. There's a lot of information. The trend is changing because people do want to live better lives, and people are getting fed up now. Things are changing. They're asking for labeling. They want to know what's in the products that we're eating. We have a right to know.
All right. Let me just add something I'm seeing here, just to tie in with some of the stuff you're saying about regulations. There's some news information I'm looking at. Says currently, the European Union, the United States, Canada, Mexico, Japan, and many other countries require producers to obtain special certification in order to market their food as organic within their borders. And then they say, in the context of regulations, organic food is produced in a way that complies with organic standards set as national, governmental, and international organizations. And although the produce of kitchen gardens may be organic, selling food with the organic label is regulated by governmental food safety authorities such as the U.S. Department of Agriculture, known as the USDA or European Commission.
So yeah.
Yep. All right.
And so, like I said, you just need to know what you're looking for and why. The benefits of organic food reach far deeper than just in our body. It also, it benefits the environment too. These newfangled foods, like I said, they're not in the life cycle. They're not in the biological cycle. They're interrupting the DNA cycle of everything, and it's having an effect. The bees are being affected, and everybody depends on each life cycle depends on each other. So that when we start having a breakdown of different life cycles, it's going to just keep snowballing. It's going to be like a ripple domino effect type thing. And we have to be careful. We're killing ourselves inside. We're killing ourselves outside. Before you know it, everything is just going to be dead unless we take a stand. And really, that's it. Organic farming, they use the environment in a good way. They're not polluting and they're not polluting and providing toxins to the animals outside. They're not messing up the ecostructure. They're being more mindful. That's the whole purpose of it being organic. And really, that was it.
All right. Sir Keith just added something in the chat room. I think I lost it there. I don't know if it's an opinion. Okay. Keith added they are pushing...
Oh, yes. He's absolutely right. They are pushing GMO food because the government has a deliberate depopulation program that has already killed more people than were killed during the First and Second World Wars. But the government aren't boasting about it. Hitler was a Boy Scout in comparison to the scientists who went to Monsanto with pardons after the war. And it's scary to put it like that, Sir Keith Anthony. But, this thing's been going on for a little while. Like I said, we are the guinea pigs of their research. But laws in other countries have been changed recently to fight against Monsanto. And just like the people became active and fought against it, we have to do the same thing. And the only way that we're going to do that is if we inform ourselves, inform each other, and really know what's going on. We are not just dying for no reason. They are killing us. They are killing us too. We have a population issue, but we have to be mindful.
All right, Empress, let's take a station break. It's 11 o'clock.
You are listening to RBN, Rule Grounds Network.
Yes, folks, it's 11 o'clock and you're listening to Empress T with a weekly presentation on higher frequency. This week she's touching on organic, non-organic food, and she has another, at the back end part of the program, she's going to touch a topic that she touched on a couple of weeks ago. Let me ask you this now, Empress. With the cost component, you and I have talked about this in the past. These products are generally far more expensive. So the little man, the little guy that's not really making a lot of money, how does he catch up to, because it's about health. Your overall, your overarching presentation each week about balance, health, and so forth. But these products are so expensive, and some of these people aren't making enough money. Is there any alternative for individuals?
Really, Rula, like I said, they really are no more expensive than buying the junk products. And here's why. When you buy foods that are processed foods, they don't contain any nutritional value. So what happens is you might eat a big fake pizza, but you're going to be hungry right away. And that pizza might have cost you $1 or so, but you're going to be hungry right away, and you're going to have to eat another 2 pizzas and maybe drink a liter of soda. Whereas if you have a wholesome meal with real food, say a salad with some real vegetables, avocado, you know what I'm saying, something like that, something more wholesome, it holds you better. It gives you more nutrition. It takes care of your body better so that you don't need more. So that instead of eating a bunch of junk food meals, inexpensive junk food meals throughout the day, you're having, maybe 3 or 4 wholesome hearty meals that are going to hold you. And when you start doing it, you'll see it last longer. You can feed your family more on a 5-pound bag of potatoes than you can on a box of fake potatoes. It just works out. You know, it might seem like it costs more, but if you do the math and really figure it out, calculate it out, it's really no more. It's really no more out of pocket. But health-wise, the benefits, you can't put a price on it. You know, people, it's up to you. You know, you can't put a price on your health, though. You won't have to go to the doctor because you're not going to have issues. You're not going to have diabetes. You're not from drinking an excessive amount of soda or eating all this sugary foods. You're not going to have health issues, so you cut down. I feel like you cut down. My visits to the doctor are small compared to other people that I know who eat, you know.
And I agree with you in terms of the general, you know, benefit, the overall, the net benefit. I understand that, but I really don't think I tend to want to agree with you from a item to item, pound per pound, going into one of these Whole Foods to buy a pound of organic flour versus what name it.
Well, those definitely exploit people. Though, you know, those big Whole Food places, so that you want to go to a farmer's market. You don't want to go to a trendy place. Trendy places are trying to make money. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that you want to be careful. It's the label, not the labeling. You don't want to go to, not because it's fancy and it says, you know, Organic Palace. That's where you go. You can find organic, natural foods in a local grocery store, in a farmers market, so that it doesn't have to be a big deal. And true, those things are really fancy labeled, and even those you have to watch out for, because what they have now, a list of products that claim that they're organic and natural, but when you go and read their ingredients, they're made with items that have GMOs, so that they can't be really organic or natural. Mm-hmm. So you have to be careful. You know, don't just go and buy stuff because the place says everything in here is organic. This is the Organic Palace. You still have to use your mind. And, you know, I mean, it can and it can't. You have to weigh it out and shop around. I shop around. I don't buy my food from one place. I have a place where I get my Caribbean produce, and I have my other place where I get my regular produce, and I have a place where I go and get my fish and my chicken, even though they lump everything together now, you know, in these big super stores. You can still, you know, take advantage of some of the smaller shops. Those are the ones that are going to give you your organic food. A fish market is going to have a better grade of fish than, say, Walmart.
So, but let me ask you this now, and again, not everybody lives close to these outfits that you can get these things readily. And I understand what you're saying. You know, you've been doing this. You know, you're one of those persons like Mr. Tony Rand, where you guys have been just eating and breathing these things. But the general person who would like to say switch up and go the route that you are, that should be difficult for them, because it's not necessarily in their neck of the woods. And that's what I'm saying. I was wondering if there are alternatives to any of these things that one could, you know, can you order these things over the internet, that type of thing? And when you get
I'm not really sure of, but what I would say the alternative is to not overthink it. Don't make it a big deal. Make it a fun event. Make it a fun experience, because once you change your perception of what you're doing, then you go at it in a different manner. Mm-hmm. And so that when you see apples, they're apples. You're not going to be like, oh God, which one? Mm-hmm. You're just going to naturally walk over and look. And if it looks too red, if it looks too shiny, you might not want that one. If it looks plastic, it might have a little bit of plastic in it. You know what I'm saying? So that it's okay to look at the fruits and vegetables and just start small. Small. I always encourage people to start out with potatoes. The reason why I say potatoes is because it's something so simple and so basic and very easy to cook. You can cook a potato in so many different ways within 10 or 15 minutes. You can just start out with just get one box of potatoes and get one a package of potatoes for maybe I don't know how much they are by you, but $2 to $3 for a 5-pound bag of potatoes, white potatoes or russet potatoes, and then buy yourself a box of instant potatoes.
So
and this is not every day. I'm just saying, like, for the person that wants to start out small, because you want to see for yourself.
Right.
And then take one potato one day and boil it. Take one potato, boil it in water, take about 15, 20 minutes, mash it up, put some butter in there, salt and pepper, and taste it. And then try the instant one. And tell me what you think. Now, the instant one, true, you'll have more potato mix, but you're going to have to add more to it, and it's not going to hold you as well, because in order for them to get it into that instant state, they've had to extract everything that was nutritious from it to provide you with an instant form of it.
Okay. So let me ask you this, though. I go into the supermarket behind me, and they have Irish potato, and it's supposedly non-organic. I cook that and eat it and love it and thing. 2 weeks later, I go and I see organic potato. How about the taste? Can you say anything about the taste? Should one be able to see a noticeable difference in the taste as far as these products are concerned?
Now, you definitely may notice a difference in the taste, because, again, with the organic foods, they're grown in an environment that is free of pesticides, free of, those type of things, fertilizers. They're using natural fertilizers and things like that. And all these things, yes, they do affect the taste. They do affect the quality. They do affect the texture. You know what I'm saying? Right. I bought some cuties, these things that they keep marketing, and I know that these are GMOs because they look like they're, just spouting them out of some type of factory. And I had them with the kids. I bought them because they're cute and they're portable, but they're nasty. They taste really odd. The texture is off, and the only reason why I know is because I grew up on the real thing. Right. Now, to a child coming up, they're sweet as ever. They're cute. They have no seeds. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they get you. But again, they're side by side with the regular tangerines. So the regular tangerines look a little paler, and they're a little bigger, and the shapes are not, all uniform. And the price might be slightly higher, but really, when you look at it, it's like 3 or 4 cents. It's not really that much. And if it is more, it'll be like 5 cents. But again, you can't put a price on your health.
Right. And I think that's the overarching the essence of the argument here is that, look, man, if you look on the big picture, you go organic, because from a health standpoint, it's going to be better for you, rather than going and eat these quick things and it's going to get you sick and ill. So when you think you're saving some dollars in buying the non-organic stuff, you're going to get you sick, and in the long run, you're going to be paying more money.
And then again, like I said, you don't have to get so caught up with the organic. My thing is whole foods. That once it's not in a box or in a can, you're good to go. You understand what I'm saying? That's my practice. So that, like you said, I'm that person. I'm going to look at the price, and I'm going to look at the quantity and the quality and things like that. And sometimes I make those decisions. Sometimes I get a GMO, but then I'm going to balance it out and detox those kids right after with something else. You know what I'm saying? So that I'm not flooding their systems with just toxins all day. Right. So again, like I said, once we inform ourselves and we're a little more knowledgeable of what we're eating and what the practices are, we can sustain ourselves better and maintain ourselves better. So that, like I said, if you're not in a position to buy strictly labeled organic food, don't worry about the labeling. Go for the whole foods. It's not so much about the labeling again.
Let me ask you this while you're on this topic. It doesn't necessarily fall specifically under your topic, but when you think about it, in some bottled water, what's your thought on drinking buying bottled water in the store. They have distilled, they have spring, they have, and I go in there. I said, man, when I was in Jamaica as a little youth, I put my hand under the pipe there and drink water from the pipe, and it's the best tasting water. When you drink water out of your
And not only that, well, in New York, it was the same way. I grew up in New York. I mean, my kids said how much. My son asked me the other day, well, how much did you guys pay for bottled water? I was going to pay for water. We didn't pay for water. You walk to any hydrant on the street in the summertime that was flowing with the coolest, crispest, best tasting water you ever had in your life. They had water fountains everywhere. You could go in any restaurant and ask for a cup of water. It was, it was free.
Yeah.
And it tastes really good.
It looked like we opened a can of worms here. 25th century, which is Cliff Edwards say, here comes my favorite subject, water. Go ahead.
Yeah, nowadays, where we have so many people, and then we also have, we are depleting our resources. So naturally, they have to recycle some of the water. And, it's really unfortunate, but the chemicals, depending on your state, that they use to filter this water and to recycle it is very toxic. And it's killing us too. Fluoride is one of the big additives that they put in water. Even with spring water that you buy in the store, you just can't be sure. But what you can be sure of is that things like charcoal does filter out most of the toxins of the water. So that, if you're really, really concerned about it, you can get yourself a little charcoal filter and filter the water yourself. Mm-hmm. We can't know what's in the bottled water in the store because we didn't see where it came from. But you can get that bottled water and, like I said, get your own additional filter if you're concerned and filter it additionally. You can add a little lemon to it. You can add a little apple cider vinegar, my favorite, to it, so that, you lessen the toxicity of it. I don't know what else to say, but there's a lot of chlorine and fluoride being put in the water. I know here in Virginia, you can smell it. You can just turn on the tap and you smell chlorine.
Well, that is so true, because the thing is, they've shown experiments on TV where if you light a match in certain places and hold it below the pipe, it explodes, because methane, is one of them gas that's probably in the system that, so it is a tough thing. We hear these things every day and we don't even know for sure what's going into our system.
Exactly. The only thing we can be sure of is that we can, we know of certain products now. Now we know, at least in this group here, our family, we know that there are certain go-to cures that we can do to balance our systems right away. I mean, we can't always eat perfectly. And even if we did, you still have to go outside. There's toxins in the air. You still have to walk on the, you know what I'm saying? So that there's toxins everywhere. But if we're mindful of how our bodies function and how we can help maintain them, then we stand a better chance.
All right, Empress, hold your thoughts for a second. Let's start.
You are listening to RBN, Rule Grounds Network.
It's 15 minutes after the hour, folks. We have another 15 more minutes to go, and we may go a little bit over 15 minutes, but this is a subject that was requested 3 weeks or so ago, and it has taken Empress that long to really pull together the data. And we're getting quite a few texts coming in. Let me read a couple of them. One of them is coming in from an ardent listener. He listens every single morning. However, you'll never, ever see him in the chat room. And he just sent me a text. He says, good morning, Ruler. As much as I agree with Empress T regarding GMO food, organic food is limited and very costly. Therefore, unless he says, therefore, unless one is rich or can produce their own food, most folks don't have the land to grow food in this country. And unfortunately, we are forced to eat some GMO food. And again, and this is one of the points I was trying to make earlier. But you come back and say, well, look, don't get overburdened with it. You can provide a balance, and you are going to run into these situations. Which is
and also on a, like you said, the lobbying level, we have to take a stand. how is it that other countries are providing their citizens with good, healthy food, but we here, supposed to be the richest, the best country in the world, we feed our people slop? We're not pigs. We have to demand what we want. And, you know, sometimes it takes a demand. Sometimes it takes the people taking a stand and saying, listen, enough is enough. It's only going to change when we stop it.
All right. Empress, again, bear with me. Another text coming in. It's kind of long, so bear with me if I can read it. It says, pesticides. Conventional growers use synthetic pesticides to protect their crops from molds, insects, and diseases. When farmers spray pesticides, this can leave residue in produce. All right, I think they're probably just providing some additional.
Yeah, that's the main thing. It's terrible for the environment because not only does the pesticides leach into the foods, but it also leaches into the soil, leaches into the water. It has, a really devastating effect on the ecological system. And while they're able to produce more and more foods, it's just crazy. It's kind of sad when you think about it because it will make you feel crazy because the food they're producing is poisonous and they're producing it in poisonous environments.
All right. The person went on to say some people buy organic food to limit their exposure to these residues. And organic produce typically carries significantly fewer pesticides residues than does conventional produce. However, residues on most products, both organic and non-organic, don't exceed government safety thresholds. And there are a couple of other stuff coming in, but I don't want to tie up because I know you want to present some other stuff there. Go
yeah,
ahead.
and it's true. There's really no real way of knowing. And, farms side by side. So, like, let's say you have a farm that's strictly organic. You know that family has been organic since Adam and Eve. And they're in the middle of two farms that use GMOs and pesticides and, these fancy fertilizers. Of course, they're sharing the same soil. So it is going to leach in, and that is the issue. And not just in the soil, it leaches in on the pollen. The pollen is airborne. It's traveling around. And so that, like I said, we have to start making a stand and saying that we don't want this. We don't want this. They're not going to provide us what we won't consume. And that's the truth.
All right,
it's going to take time, and it might not be our generation. And that's the other thing. So that when I'm talking to, to everyone about these things, I'm not saying that, we're going to change it by next month, but that we have to start changing the lifestyles that got us here. Life wasn't like this 30, 40 years ago, so that, it might take another 30, 40 years to reverse it. But, we have children and grandchildren. I hope that my grandchildren can, say to me, wow, Grandma, did you guys really eat that stuff? You know what I'm saying? I want them to be able to have whole foods and look at us and, with shame. Not that I want to be shamed, but I'm saying, and say, wow, how terrible it must have been, because yes, it is.
But and I think of all the people listening to you all over the world right now, I am absolutely sure they agree with you 100%. When you think and look around you, I look around, what's happening to some young people. Just last week, I spoke to one sister. She's 52, and she was so upset. She was so down. But because within 3 days, 4 of her sisters around her age bracket, as young as, well, when I say young, ranging from 45 years to 54, 4 of them are down with cancer. One of them was, as a matter of fact, the person might have passed away by now. So there's no reason, for us to believe that the food we're eating, the air we're breathing, the water we're drinking is not killing us off. Along with these stresses that that people have to go through, it is really and truly one of the things that's killing us off. There's no two ways about it. And
and the lifestyle changes. Like I said, we're starting ourselves off now at the gate. We're starting kids off at birth with the chemicals. That's the real danger. That's the biggest evil of all. If we can just stop that right there, I think we can save the future generations, because they're going to start out feeling good and knowing what it is to have their body systems functioning properly, so that they're going to reject all this food and all this way, all these lifestyles that we have now. We have to almost reinvent ourselves. And, I always say, promote the breastfeeding. We've got to promote breastfeeding. We've got to give our bodies the natural antibodies that we design for ourselves at the onset. It has to be at the beginning so that it can carry us through. We are the generation, like I said, that didn't get it. They didn't get the breast milk. They didn't get the whole foods. They didn't get any of it. We were the cigarette smoking, drinking. We were the free generation. Anything that they wanted, they could get it.
That is so true. Well, I remember when I was little bit, and not that I remember, I'm talking to my mom's breast, but in Jamaica, man, most of the parents down there, most of the moms back in the days, I talk 54, I was born in 54. Look, man, you have to suck on that breast and take that milk and build up your immune system. But like you said, nowadays, a kid born over here, they don't know about that. As you come out in the hospital, they might give you some look of chemicals, some look of formula, and all of buckle for you.
Free. Anything
exactly.
marked free, people run for. If they say free shit, people are going for. Excuse me, I don't know if I can say that word. But once they attach free, people just seem to go crazy. Yeah. The only thing I want free is love and life. That's it.
I like
That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is true. So hey, and again, we appreciate the amount of people, because consistently, while you're giving your presentation, over 40 people, sometimes 50 odd people tuning in, and they want to hear these things. And one of the things is, since you've been on 15 weeks now with Keith Anthony, drilling in these information, you'd be amazed it makes a difference. Because I tell you, even for me, I started going to the store and look on a label, and Mr. Tony Ryan from Healthy Food says, once you go into our store and you look on the label and there's a name you cannot pronounce every too long, don't buy it.
Yep. Or how about this? You go to buy one product and it has like 50 different things in it. Like, really? I need 50 products to make instant mashed potatoes? Come on. Yeah. And now let me ask you this, Rula, since you said you've been changing and being more mindful. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed, is it really more expensive, or is it almost balancing out?
Well, in terms of dollar value, for sure. Dollar value per ounce, dollar value per pound, dollar value per inch. I think it's more expensive. But for me, I can deal with it. And I don't go out and just buy organic stuff. I really don't, to be real honest. But at times when I go there and I see it, I may pick it up. And I think we have bad habits, is one of the things. Here we buying these junk food. And not junk food, because I don't really go out and buy junk food per se. But buying the non-organic food, we're so used to that because the prices are normally more attractive. We tend to do so. But, I mean, for me, I'm generally healthy. But all I'm really saying to stay healthy, because the older you get, that's when these things start to show up. If you start, and I've heard you said it, and I've heard Tony Ryan say it, look, some of these things that are within our body, within our systems, it's been there for 10, 15, 20 years. And after about 15, 20 years, it starts to manifest in these problems.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. So. And then the other thing, too, is I remember when getting old was something to look forward to. All the old people around me when I was younger were so vibrant and so healthy and strong and big. You understand what I'm saying? And happy people. Mm. So that now, because the life expectancy has changed and what we have to look forward to now when we get old is not the same thing. People don't want to get old anymore. People don't want to get old. Who wants diabetes? That's the stuff that they think that they have to look forward to, arthritis and all that stuff. But you don't have to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to unless you want to. Now, some people like the attention. I hate to say that, and I know there's probably like 5 people like, ooh, why did she say that? But, the real of it is that it gives people some attention. Some people have to be sick and they get that attention. But me, I want positive attention. I want positive living. I feel the worst for the people that say that they can't find it in their neighborhoods. They can't find natural whole foods. Look, try, take one weekend and take an hour or two and maybe go outside of where you live or go back to your old neighborhood if you can get there. Most times you can find these things in the old neighborhood. You can find natural, whole potatoes and carrots and just simple things, codfish, anything, that you ate as a child coming up. Look for those things. And if you can't find them, then there's, like I said, there's methods of treating the food. If you're buying chicken, soak that chicken. Soak the chicken in lemon juice or apple cider vinegar so that at least you leach out some of the toxins in the food. There's little things that we can do to help ourselves. We're not going to be perfect right now because, this is all new to us, but that we have to start making steps. And once you start making those steps, they become your habits, and then you won't be able to not do it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Good point. Well, I'm quite sure with the myriad of people tuning in, they're taking note. And like I said, hammering these things over and over and over, at some point we started to say there must be some truth to it. And it's very important for our health. No matter if you're young, old, in the middle, whatever, people around you, you can point out some of these pointers to them that we need to pay close attention to what we eat. All right, I tell you what, I know you had another part of the discussion, but I don't think we're going to be able to cover it today because it's 11:30. Because this one, and I'm sure we could go on and on. We did not even open the phone line because many inputs were being put in the chat rooms. We did not open the phone line to take a question here or there.
We could, I don't know if you had the time.
No, we can extend it for another 3 minutes or so. If anyone would like to call in, make a comment, ask a question, a critique, a suggestion as to what Empress T could cover over the next few weeks, please, you can call the number at 770-744-2154. That's 770-744-2154. All right, Empress, when I asked earlier about the water, I don't think I heard a specific answer because we've heard about distilled water, spring water, different bottled water. Does it make any difference which one of those you're going to buy from time to time? And I don't know if you go that route. I saw where SW says that her doctor says go with filtered water. Put a filter.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Filtered is definitely the best. Distilled water, depending on what you're doing. If you're doing a cleansing detox and you just need the water for a couple of days, you can use distilled water. Distilled water is just used. It's made. I don't want to say made because water is not made, but it's processed differently.
We have a call coming in. Sorry, we have a call coming in. A caller. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Say your name and where you're calling from, please.
Blessed love, everyone. This is Servant David.
Big love, the big brethren. First of all, let me say thank you for putting forth this suggestion a few weeks ago. And now that we have you on, engage Empress T in terms of what you've heard and any comments, suggestion, whatever. Go ahead, Empress. Servant David.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say blessed love, Empress T, and all the listeners. And I want to thank you, Ruler, for doing the job that you're doing. Empress, you're doing a wonderful job on every topic, everything that you're doing. And I want to encourage you to, keep it up. You're making a difference. Sometimes it may seem to you, I don't know, I'm just, saying it may seem to you that you're not making a difference, but you are. You're touching lives in many different ways and on many different topics. So keep it up, Empress. You're doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, man, we certainly appreciate that. And again, Empress really digs in to give. And she's one of the, right person to do this because actually she practices a lot of these things. Sometimes people just talk, but they don't practice with them preach.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so easy. And that's why the passion here coming out because she does it. Yeah, Empress. Any response to what Servant just said? Hello. Don't tell me. Okay,
no.
Empress.
Yes. Hi. I lost you.
Yeah. For some reason, I lost you. Did you hear anything what Servant David said?
Not a thing.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm more than willing to repeat it.
Yeah, man, please.
Hi, David. I recognize that voice.
Blessed love, sister. Blessed love. wanna encourage you to, continue doing the things that you're doing. You're doing a wonderful, wonderful job on each and every topic that you touch. I'm not insinuating anything, but sometimes we do things and we feel like I'm doing this in vain, or it's not. No one's listening. Listen. Don't feel that way. You're touching many lives. Even if you don't touch many and you just touch one, at least you touched someone and you gave some type of insight or info that could have saved their lives or could have whatever. You're doing a wonderful job. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Well said.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I also want to thank you for taking the topic as well, because it was a suggestion. You didn't have to, And I want to, I appreciate that as well. I personally don't know too much about it. I know the prices are kind of crazy sometimes, but I don't personally know the too much information on the organic or the non-organic. But I know that sometimes it's not always what tastes better. Going off on what you said, like, okay, you cook some dinner, and you cook dinner for your kids, and your kids you give them the choice. You want to go to Burger King, McDonald's, or somewhere like that, or you want me to cook? No, Mom. They say no one cooks like Mom. Mama's cooking is the best cooking, which is true. But 9 times out of 10, especially on the age group, the child is gonna say, "Oh, McDonald's, this and that." Why? Because of the commercial, because it tastes good, and this and that. But then a half hour later, you're hungry again, Oppose if Mama did cook a home-cooked meal with love.
Yes.
Exactly. And what's funny about that, David, is that in my household, the kids, they might say, if their friends are going, like if they're going out to play, they'll say, we're going to run by McDonald's. But then they want to know what's for dinner when they come home, because that's not food.
Yep.
That's not food. I mean, I can make them. We have fast food nights at home. And what I do is I make ground turkey burgers, and I make homemade fries, and I blend up some milkshakes. I buy ice cream, and we do the milkshakes. And we have fast food nights at home. And, I know that I work at home, but I design my life to be with my children, with my family. Everyone doesn't have that luxury. And so we have to do it in baby steps. Take one night. Take one night a week. It could be on the weekend. It could be one meal. It doesn't even have to be at night. It could be a breakfast. It could be a lunch. But do something wholesome with the family. Make a salad lunch. Have a salad buffet. And buy fruits, and cut up some fruits, and just have everybody come and say what their favorite fruit is and have it there, and make salad, a fruit salad for lunch or something. But keep it fun. I think that what happens is when we start to overthink it and start, thinking about, oh, it's going to cost more, it's going to this, it's going to that, then we talk ourselves out of it.
Good point.
But if you can take baby steps, and just say, okay, instead of going to McDonald's this weekend, guys, we're gonna make salad at home, or we're gonna make pasta at home, or anything, whatever it is that you want to make, and I guarantee you it's going to cost you less, because I have a big family, so I have 3 big boys. I cannot go to McDonald's and spend $10. We have to spend at least $30 there, and then when I come home, I still have to cook. So I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So that I'm cooking at home.
All right.
You understand?
All right.
Now, about the water rule, I know that you had said, what I said was that my suggestion for people that are really, really concerned is to buy your own filter. A charcoal filter, from what I read, and this was a while back, is the best filter for what we have going now. Now, you're not going to get 100% pure water, but it'll get you the closest to it. We can't really be sure what's in those bottles. I mean, to be honest, we don't know. They can say anything. And not to be funny, but I've had family members that worked in supermarkets years ago, and they said sometimes the labels come off. So you know what they do, right? pop another label on there.
Yep.
So, you know what I'm saying? So that if you're really, really concerned, get yourself your own filter. Do your research first. Find out what type of filter is going to be best for your family. Do you need a filter that's going to filter the water for the house? Do you live in an apartment? Do you need it just in the kitchen for that water? Do you want to filter your water that you bathe with? Because fluoride is in the water. And fluoride gets in your system, and it has devastating effects, too, you know, the accumulation of fluoride and stuff like that. But if you're really, really concerned, get yourself your own personal filter. Other than that, try to get filtered water or spring water.
Spring water. Okay, well, and David, stay on the line there. Glad you called in because you've always agitated the dialogue by coming up with these great suggestions and just engaging. So we appreciate you. But do you talk about spring water then? One of the concern I hear is that if you have the water in these plastic bottles, because plastic, as you know, is organic component.
No, it's inorganic. It's a synthetic. And it leaches into the water.
Right. So the question then, should I be buying those bottled water that are spring water?
And that's what I was saying. So, first of all, you don't know how long they've been there. I mean, you can. I don't want to deter people because we can go crazy if we start really analyzing how many things are really toxic and really just no good for us. But, you know, we don't know how long the water's been sitting there, and what they find is that the plastic leaches into the water. Mm-hmm. And so that it might have started out natural and wholesome and good for you, but by the time it got to the store and to the shelf and to your home and to your hand, who knows how long it's been there? And so that, you know, you're right back where you started.
All right. David, we're going to give
sad. Isn't it sad?
Very, very sad.
All right, David.
I'm not even going to begin to touch on the water issue because we won't come off the phone.
All right, David. All right, I tell you what, it's 40 minutes after. David, going to give you a minute to just say your parting thoughts, and we're going to try and wrap it from there. Go ahead, David.
Okay, well, basically, again, Ruler, I want to encourage you as well. You know, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a wonderful job. To kind of backtrack, yesterday, the show, the little topic that you had, loved it. Need more stuff like that out there and more information about things on topics such as those and others as well. Empress, blessed love, my sister. Continue doing what you're doing and keep your head high.
Thank you.
Yes, brother David, Servant David, man, the man that, you know, we've been playing this big song. Hey, David, make sure,
yes,
by the way, before you go big man, and Payne want to beat you up in a lot of people want to beat you up in because Sunday in the name of the artist.
It was not my fault. It was not my fault. But listen, you can't give it to me now because I will definitely be there. I'm going to win this. Remember, I told you.
All right. So and Payne, SAA, Odyssey, the whole out and hear that. You hear it from itself. The brother say he'll be here on Sunday in the name of the artist, name the song contest. I want to say big up to you and your big song we've been playing, Longing for Home, because I played that in the contest Sunday. So you'll get you'll get at least 2 points Sunday.
I'll leave those 2 points for Ann Payne so she can catch us.
Well, you know.
Blessed love, Ann Payne. Blessed love. You know, so I love all the time. And Fritz Ryan, everyone I know. Blessed love. Man.
Yeah, man.
Blessed
and Leonie also over there in England did extremely well. So I'm sure she's probably going to be...
Yes, she did. And again, congratulations to Odyssey. Big love. Much respect, man.
Yeah, man. So blessed love, and hopefully we'll get a chance. I don't know if we'll get a chance to drop a little piece of your tune before we leave. But again, thank you so much, all right?
Blessed.
All right, respect. All right, Empress team, I'm going to ask you to just wrap it from here because we're running out of time. This was quite a one. And by the way, while David was on, there was about 20 messages or drops of inputs or data in the chat room, all positive. So again, just want to say that to you and to David. Go ahead, T.
Yeah, I just want to say, again, it's not to make us fearful. I have a thing against fear, but just to make us mindful so that, for the future going forward. We are examples and we are lights to all of the people that are around us. So everything we do, the people around us are going to mimic or reflect in some kind of way. So that, when I'm talking about us eating wholesome and, like I said, it's in baby steps. Just take small steps. My children, they love it. As much as they clown me when I say, okay, tonight we're going to have, this or that natural meal, they laugh and joke around. But at the end of it, they say, hey, it was really good. So that, just baby steps. Don't get too caught up in the labeling. It's marketing. The labels are designed to get your money. So that if you can see past the labeling and just remember whole foods, if it's not in a box or in a can, chances are it'll be healthier for you. If you can just, keep that in mind as you're going forward and, not try to make it a chore, but something fun and exciting for you and your family. That's all. I just want to spread the love. I thank you all for giving me the opportunity every week to share my love with you. And Rula, that's really it.
Yeah, and before we go, and let me just say on behalf of many persons in the chat room, not sure I can't run down their name again because I might leave off some of them, but welcome Roddy Strutt, who came on late in the chat room, also China Nicole, and again, several other people are there like 25th Century, Ann Payne, Beverly Morgan, Empress T, Keith Anthony, Kevas, Leonie, Liebach, Rasta Wisdom, Swa, Tarranta Queen, just a ton of other people and a number of guests. And on behalf of the radio station, JamaicaRadio.com, Ruler Brown Network, CRS Radio, Caribbean Radio Show, The Flavor Radio, Foundation Radio Network, 25th Century Radio, Arizona Radio, Scotia P Radio, TuneIn Radio, Mixla, Vibes Urban Radio over there in Huddersfield, Mighty Radio in Manchester, One Harmony Radio in London, Reggae Nostalgia, Ustream TV, and Inbox Media Group and all the telephone people that are listening on the telephone. I want to say thank you. Empress, blessed love to you. All the best for the weekend, all right?
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Yes, indeed. That's the one and only